And welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And folks, we got a great conversation today. We're going to talk about Gavin Newsom as he continued with the Democrats to say black people are dumb. And we're going to talk about the State of the Union speech last night. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know you're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, Pastor David. Y'all come on in. And welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And first, let me give all praises to Yahuwah and Yahusha. That's God and Christ in Hebrew. Well, folks, the idiocy of the Democratic Party never ceased to amaze me. Over the weekend, Gavin Newsom was in Atlanta promoting his book. And he pretty much said that he's a dumb butt and that black people are dumb too. After we get through dispatching Gavin Newsom, we're going to talk about the State of the Union speech last night. And let me say this. To the American people and patriots across this country, what President Trump has done in the last 10 to 12 months has been a great thing for this country. He is restoring us back to respectability. The economy has gotten better. I mean, everything that he said that he was going to do, he has done it. But it never ceased to amaze me, the stupidity of the Democratic Party. You're talking about they open the borders, they let all the illegals come in, they've taken money that they have not even used for the American citizens to give to illegal migrants. They're studied breaking the law by aiding and abetting criminals. They're stopping ICE from doing their job. And yet the Democrats have not came up with one solution to make this country better. Their whole ideology is to think that the American people and patriots across this country are stupid as hell. We saw what happened under Joe Biden. We understood the positions of the Democrat, and it has not been about making sure American citizens are first. So what we saw last night at the State of the Union speech was a disrespect to every American citizen in this country. You would think that the politicians, no matter who they are, would have the interests of the American citizens first. But we can see to the American people and patriots across this country, especially Black Americans, we can see that the Democratic Party doesn't give a crap about us. It's always about them and how they can steal money. All the bad things that can happen to a country, the Democrat Party is doing. And it's time for the people of America to stand up and get rid of the Democratic Party because it has nothing good to do for American citizens. And in saying that, I'm going to get my team in today and we're going to go over these things. Hey, Doc.
Hey, how are you? Good morning.
Randy, Steve. Guys, first I want to talk about Gavin Newsom, and I want to get your thoughts on it. You know, over the weekend, Gavin Newsom was in Georgia, and he was promoting a book. Now, during the time of this interview, he tried to associate with Black people to say, Black people, we know y'all a bunch of dumbasses, so I'm going to tell you that I'm a dumbass too, so that we can be all on the same page, a bunch of dumbasses in a room. Your thoughts on that, Randy?
Hello, everyone. Man, look, Gavin Newsom only says the quiet part out loud, and this is the sentiment of Democrats. They always think that Black people are dumb. They always have. They you're either going to toe the line and be part of the groupthink or that silo, or you're a coon, you're a traitor to your race, you're all of this. That's the dichotomy that they put Black people in. And furthermore, you think about how they're already pushing back against the SAVE Act requiring IDs to vote. They say, well, Black people, this is Jim Crow 2.0. You can't get an ID. You're too ignorant to even use the internet. So Biden said that. So it's like Democrats or black Democrats. If you are subscribing to that, then you probably are dumb. I digress.
Doc?
Well, I think it's really sad because really all he had to say was, you know what? I've had shortcomings in my life. I've overcome them, just like a lot of you in this audience. That makes you a better person, and that brings everybody up. But no, here you are. You keep thinking it's okay to be like Donald Trump. Stop it. Like you're not even Trump light. You're Trump not. Like, I need you to stop trying to play victim in the wrong way. You can be the victim, and I understand why you were using your dyslexia to kind of bring people in and endure people to you, but you can't, because we know you're lying. It's all a front. We know you are an inauthentic person, and that's what he keeps striving for. And in his striving to really connect with us, he again has just really made people angry. He's good at that. He's really good at that. Mr.
Binky?
Yeah, well, there ain't a whole lot to talk about the guy. I mean, it's like Randy said, the Democrats want to keep people dumbed down. The Republicans want you to be able to define your future. The Democrats want to be the ones to define your future. So when you sit there and listen to Gavin Newsom and see, it's like turning a light switch on. You put him in California, and he's just talking derogatory about anything about Republicans and Trump. And then you put him on TV in front, and then he changes that switch over to I'm Mr. Understanding. And, I'm just, no, come
He's
on.
He's not authentic.
No.
He's not authentic. It's bad. We all see it.
Well, he has turned California into a cesspool. He has done nothing for the citizens of California. He promoted the LGBT. He did the transgender thing, because I know we did some shows where a lot of people was running to California because Gavin Newsom was telling young people, well, when you get 18, you don't have to worry about that. If you want a transgender operation, just leave your state, like some of the kids did, and went to California, and they butchered them up to nothingness, man. I had a young lady on my show about maybe a couple of years ago, and she was a woman that turned herself into a man. And she said, this is probably the worst thing I ever did. I'm going to be on meds the rest of my life. I'm not going to even live to see my grandchildren. And I wish I had not made this mistake. And that was her warning to other people who are contemplating, hey, you know what? I might want to get a sex change. It's a lot
but
more.
She might be eligible. There's a lawsuit that was that actually won because they are coercing people into doing this or convincing people this is the right thing to do. And now they've written a law somewhere where you can actually go forth, and it's up to like 25 years before the statute of limitation runs out. So she may be able to actually get compensated.
Well, and it needs to be, guys, because you're trying to play God. You're first of all, you're using emotions against children who have the inkling of the thought that think that there's something else when they're not. And that's what the Democrats did under Joe Biden. They told the children that, oh yeah, it's okay. You can switch with, you can be a girl today and a boy tomorrow. Not really giving them the ideas of all the pain and suffering that they're going to go through to make that happen. And I think it's high time that the American people and patriots across this country, we need to stand behind President Trump with these new laws. It has to stop.
Well, you got to remember too, Dave. You got the medical field involved with it too. You got these kids going. The parents are saying, "Oh, my kid's got a problem." And you take them to a doctor. The doctor's sitting there going, "Oh, well, this is the problem," and then they encourage them to change their idea of being a girl to a boy, or vice versa.
That's where those doctors should be barred and have their
that's where the lawsuits coming in. That's what I'm talking about. Yep, that's where the lawsuits are coming in, and people can now finally go back and get compensated and get restored for the damage that was done to them by these quack doctors.
You can't
making them believe something.
You can't restore that.
Well, no, I hear what you're saying. You can't restore it back, but what they can do is they can help them get the, you know what I'm saying, help them with the medications that they need. Because you got to remember, these people were left destitute. They literally changed them and said, we can't counsel you. What other medication is there can we give you? And so a lot of these people taking these things, they've been put on lots of pain medications, obviously opioids. That's going to make situations worse, no counseling. And so those are the people that have been basically left to the wind. Now they have some type of, you know, reconciliation that they can get and recourse for the damage that's been done.
But you know what, guys, we need to really take a look at Planned Parenthood, because I had a sister that came on the show. She said that her daughter went to Planned Parenthood for counseling. And well, she went there to talk about an abortion. But once she got there, Planned Parenthood coerced her into thinking that that was a boy trapped inside of her and that she needed to have a sex change operation in order to fulfill who she really is. And I think Planned Parenthood, under the guise of healthcare, needs to be brought to a place of accountability, because they're mainly in the Black community. They're like the McDonald's of abortion clinics. And it's not even the same, because we did some research and we found out that a lot of whites who go there for abortion, Planned Parenthood offer them alternatives like keeping the baby. They offer them economic help. I mean, the whole 9 yards. But when Black women go to Planned Parenthood regarding an abortion, the first thing that they say is, you got to get an abortion. They don't give them any alternatives. That's their mainstay as a contraceptive for Black women, is to get that abortion and get that baby out of there, thus really killing the future of America. And that's why I say, since Roe versus Wade, over 58 million Black babies have been aborted. And think about all those children, what they could have been, or what they would have been able to do to contribute to this country, besides being thrown in a trash can or being used out in the open market as fetuses for scientists to investigate on. It's just a shame. And I think that the American people need some type of recourse against these doctors, Planned Parenthood, and all the others who continue to use this procedure to try to change what God created between a man and a woman. Now, I'm going to play a clip.
You know, Pastor,
go ahead, Randy.
You know, on that note, you know, it's not a wonder that, you know, the black population has remained at between 13 and 14% of the U.S. population for the last 70 years. You know, and so they say, well, all these other ethnic groups are growing and this and the other, but the Black community stays the same. This is why we're going to these Planned Parenthoods. We're doing, you know, God knows what in our communities, killing each other off, you know, through attrition, and so that's why we're stagnant the way we are. And to the other earlier point about the transitioning. To me, there's no such thing as transition. You can't deny what God has already ordained or has already established. Yes. That's number one. Number two, when you sit there and say that, oh, well, the outside physical appearance has changed, so that person is identified as that. I'm like, okay, so you're denying the science because you can't change their DNA, you can't change their chromosomes. So at the end of the day, they're still a guy or a gal biologically. So there's that. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna play this what Gavin Newsom said, and we can talk about that, and then we're gonna go to the State of the Union speech. It was great last night. Let's check out Gavin.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
Maybe you are.
Okay, so that clip was.
Okay,
Maybe
guys.
you are in the wrong business to be a politician, but then again, maybe you're not, because they take psychopaths and sociopaths because those are the people that they know. If you don't care about killing people or destroying people, those are the people that are our politicians. Those are the people that they want in positions of authority. Let's just be clear.
Your thoughts, Mink?
Yeah, well, there's nothing to say about the guy. It's like Dr. Nichols said, he's a phony, and he's one of these kiss the babies, I'm the great guy. There's nothing to talk. The guy's useless to me. And I'm gonna speak about as a white guy. He's an embarrassment.
Aren't you offended?
I'm sick of him. I don't turn people. I don't listen or follow people that are like him. I don't like politicians to begin with because most of them are one of these kiss butt people that I'm going to be all self-righteous and wonderful. And then you throw them in the office, Republican or Democrat, I don't care. You put them in a power position and they turn themselves into a total jerk off.
You're absolutely right, Steve. And that's where the responsibility of the people come in and keep them in line, keep them in check, and say, okay, we put you here. You didn't put yourself here, so you could be distracted just as easily. So you need to humble yourself and do the bidding of what we want you to do, and not what these crony, capitalists and crony corporations and all that is trying to get you to do. And that's the problem that we have in politics. There's nothing wrong with politics. It's the people in politics is the problem. Mm-hmm. And so when we actually stand up and change that dynamic and change that mindset, you're going to see a paradigm shift in the mentality of how politics is actually operated. And so that's my hope for the future. And with shows like this, where we're exposing that and we're talking about that, maybe we're changing those hearts and minds out there to actually implement that.
I want to play a little bit more of this and what was said on the rebuttal side.
She said on X, his way of bonding with black people is to tell them how stupid he is and that he can't read. Well, last night, Mayor Andre Dickens came to the governor's defense. He posted the full 4-minute clip on Instagram, and I've taken a screenshot here on Instagram of what he said. And that 4-minute clip that he posted on Instagram includes the mayor's question, what would you like the reader to take away about growing up with dyslexia? The mayor goes on to write, take it from someone who was actually in the chair and asking the questions. Context matters more than a headline. He said the portion about the SAT wasn't an attack on anyone. It was a moment of vulnerability about his own journey. The governor's communications team, they have also come out and they've called this backlash fake MAGA manufactured outrage. Of course, the important context in all this is that California Governor Gavin Newsom, a heavy favorite and has long been considered a favorite to run for president in 2028.
Wait a minute, how is this all about MAGA? How is this all about MAGA? First of all, not all black people are Republicans that were offended by this. There were Democrats that were offended by this, but see, they're not going to show that post where he was cussing on
Mhm.
X at somebody all these epithets you can't even show on the show because there's so many of them. And Gavin Newsom's little post where he just got all butt hurt about somebody calling him on his stuff.
Randy?
Mhm.
Anyway,
I agree. I agree. And you know, the crazy part is when white liberals. Here's the thing. I'm gonna pull a page from Malcolm X's book real quick.
please,
When white
please do.
liberals talk about black folks, it's supposed to be accepted and it's supposed to be the truth.
Right.
And
Mhm.
if black folks talk about black folks, then it's like, oh, that's culture. But when Republicans talk about black folks, then oh, y'all are being racist. Make it make sense. So
It does.
you know, it's just mind-boggling to me. And so I say to Gavin Newsom, you know, okay, we could give you a somewhat of a pass that you may have gaffed that whole entire segment and just didn't realize what room you were in. But at the end of the day, you did speak from the heart and you spoke what you and your party already think about black folks. So it is what it is.
Steve?
Well, him saying that his score of 960 and he didn't want to offend anybody with 940, I could care less. What my score is irrelevant, you know. But for him to say that it's not a good thing for him not being able to read, oh yeah, put me in office then because I can read. You know, so what's he telling us? He's just a little puppet. That's all
He's
is.
trying to be a victim. I don't know if anybody in here watches South Park, but there was an episode of South Park where they did, okay, here's your brand. And it would be like 3 things that were good about you, but then you had to be a victim so that people could actually relate to you and feel sorry for you and connect with you. And that's all he's doing. That's the playbook. This was supposed to be his moment of victimhood where everybody was supposed to say, oh, we feel sorry for Gavin Newsom. Oh my gosh, he's running for president. That's so great. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. Okay, that's supposed to be the outcome. And it's not happening. It's crashing and burning. He's making no friends. And this is going to be really interesting to see what happens in 2020.
Has anybody ever looked into his background? I mean,
he's the nephew of Nancy
Pelosi.
There you go. You know?
Yep.
But you know what, guys? The saddest thing of it is to see that come out of his mouth that says that he can't read. How did you get to be the governor? And what type of president would you make if you cannot read?
He was also the mayor of San Francisco. So leave that out.
Is he associating that with a prompter by any chance?
But the thing of it is, to the American people and patriots across this country, when we see these politicians who come in and try to associate themselves, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get black people back on the Democratic plantation in the mind. That's what they're doing. They want this whole thing has not been about America. It has been about, we hate Donald Trump. We need y'all Negroes to come back, even though we've done nothing for you. We've talked about you like a dog. We've decimated your communities. We've drained any economic opportunities out, and we brought illegals in to replace you. So what is the mindset? That's the thing that I'm thinking about. Why should black people, and to every black person, I was listening to the news this morning on KISS 104.1, and a lot of the black people was standing up for Gavin Newsom. Now that shows you how idiot and how the Stockholm syndrome that some black people have to think that this man who does nothing for black people, who has destroyed California with a sanctuary state, and then talk down to black people like, yeah, I'm a dumbass and y'all is too. So that makes us all one big party of dumbasses, man. I just don't see how the American people and patriots across this country or any black person can vote for him as president, because if he ran California in the ground, guys, like he has done, just think what he would do as president of this country. Mr. Binky?
Yeah. The reason is because they don't look at history. The Democratic Party has always been the party to promote slavery, right?
Yes.
The Republican Party was created because of the Democratic Party promoting slavery and trying to expand it after Thomas Jefferson died. Then they were against the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment. They created the KKK. They were against civil rights. How much history does the people, especially the black community, need to look at before they convince themselves? We just don't listen to this party that's wanting to buy us out. And that's the black community has fell for this.
Yeah. Because this is what they do. They don't promise anything to black people, right? But they say, well, we're going to empower you. What does that mean? What does that look like? Where is the legislation? But then they go, you can't go over there to them because they're the racists, remember? And that's it. That is it.
Yeah,
there's nothing else. There's no money. There's no legislation. We don't even get a party.
Oh, wait a minute. There was the Obama phone. They came up with one.
But you know,
this is Black History Month. You know, I got all my notes and stuff for Black History Month. What you're talking about, bringing Newsom in here and his statement saying basically that I'm just like you, dumb to the black community. That's all about Black history. Look at Black history now. You know, it's being repeated.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Because all they have is Republicans are racist. That's all they have. They have nothing else.
That's all they got now. Yeah, that's all they have now is Republicans are rapists or pedophile protectors.
Yeah,
that's the other one.
Yes, they are.
I have to rebut with that. I'm like, a pedophile protector. I'm like, but you was okay with Joe Biden sniffing little girls around the White House? Okay.
Oh no, you're okay with MAPS in the LGBTQ community. Stop that.
Yeah, exactly. That's
you're protecting it now.
Guys, Joe Biden was taking a shower with his 12-year-old daughter. What sense does that make, man?
Documented. This is documented.
Yeah.
But then it seems like, you know, even though we do the research and we speak confidently about what we know because of our research and receipts, but a lot of black people do not do any they don't do any research, and then they listen to the stupidity of these black Democratic leaders who does nothing in your community, who has brought no economics, who has brought no educational ideas, no laws, no nothing, and the whole thing is about black people so dumb, all we got to do is get them to hate Trump, talk about Trump. And that's the war that they've played against us. It's for us to be able to get involved with them and keep them. Doc, go ahead on and talk. I got to grab a phone call right quick.
Okay. But what I did want to look at, I know when he comes back, he's going to talk about the State of the Union. And, you know, I actually covered how the People's State of the Union that the Democrats were doing. And I even went through Grok and I was like, well, did they even apply or advance anything similar to the Congressional Black Caucus? Now, the Congressional Black Caucus, and they were just in their formation when they went to Nixon, like, you need to come meet with us. Now, here's the kicker. By the time they met with Nixon, Nixon had already put stuff in place, like the Office of Minority Business Enterprise. That was in 1969. The caucus wasn't developed till 1971. So what were we talking about? It was a lot of faux outrage, making it look like Nixon wasn't doing his job when he was. He was working with the HBCUs. He was doing all these things. And the whole time, he's a racist. He's a racist. But the Black Caucus has done nothing. Since their inception, they are an arm of the Democratic Party. There are no Republicans in the Congressional Black Caucus, even though it's supposed to be a nonpartisan entity for Black Americans specifically. And they've done nothing because since its inception, it wasn't even put together by Black Americans. Shirley Chisholm, she's not a Black American. She's a Caribbean.
Yep.
Okay. She's not even us.
But you know what, guys? And I had to take off for a minute. That was Kwame Kilpatrick. He works with the Pardon Czar Miss Johnson's office. And Doc, when we get off here, we got to put a summary together because they are interested to help us get this bill passed. That's good news for the Black community.
That
And
is a
then
recension of a bad bill.
yes, yes, yes. Get this thing repealed and get our black men out of these prisons that are there for that unconstitutional bill. So that's great news. I'm so happy that they're going to look at it and help us achieve our goals to help get our people out of prison. Now, guys, let's get on down to the real get down of the get down. Now, 9 o'clock is late for me
It
because
is.
I'm in bed by 8. But I stayed up.
Clock is late. I don't care.
I stayed up late last night to watch the State of the Union speech. And let me say this. I take my hat off to President Donald Trump. The work that he has done to restore our country has been astronomical. He has brought back common sense politics that benefit not only the black community, but to the American people. America first is what it's supposed to be, and we shouldn't have all these other people in front of us using our resources and not have put one dime into this country. So, Randy, I want your thoughts on the speech last night, and I'm gonna get some of it queued up.
It was probably, actually, I was going to say probably, it was the best State of the Union I have seen in the last 20 years. And that, because I've been in politics for 25 years, but 20 years, hands down, it was by far the best. And I would say it was very much needed. It was a breath of fresh air to see the president call out the Democrats to their face on the national stage, on the floor, about, it's our job to protect the American people over illegal immigrants. And he recognized not only 2 Medal of Honor recipients, but a Legion of Merit recipient, and several of the what's it called, angel families,
Mm-hmm.
and the Democrats stay seated for majority of that. It goes to show the vitriol and the hatred that these people have for the American people. And I would not be surprised come November that they're going to be voted out because of that. Just because of what happened last night, that sealed the fate for the Democrat Party. If that doesn't happen, then we are a lost country. If the Democrats still have some remnants of power come November, we're lost as a country, because there's just the moral turpitude there is just astronomically stupid.
Doc, your thoughts?
Yeah, they're showing who they are. I really love how he blasted him. He was like, see, you don't understand, you were just stupid people. I was like, okay. But what I also liked is he said, hey, you guys need to pass that piece of legislation that doesn't allow any more insider trading. He called everybody in the room out. He messed with everybody's money. I need everybody to understand this right now. He does, because he has money. He's like, I'm gonna mess with all y'all's money because I know how you got it.
Big bank, take little bank.
All right. So, I mean, those are things that I really appreciated from his speech. The fact that he just kind of smacked people over the head, even though Ilhan Omar was kind of like, you killed Americans. I'm like, ma'am, with all the things that you have going on, you need to sit down and be real quiet, because you haven't had an investigation going on since 2023 under the previous administration. Ma'am, you are going to go to prison. You are going to be denaturalized. You are going to be moved from the House of Representatives. It's going to happen. You're not going to get reelected. I know you keep sitting up there like, oh, I'm just going to get back in office in November. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Mr. Binky?
Yeah. The State of the Union is supposed to be kind of a happy, we're succeeding type deal to honor people, I guess. They had the hockey team there, and they had the families that the Ukrainian family was there that lost her daughter, and like everybody pointed out, the Democrats sat. There was only a couple of times after Trump called them out about sitting that they did, some of them stand up, and that was over the insider trading stuff and
Mhm.
and then celebrating some of the hockey team or whatever. But the part that gets me is, why have in the last 10 years, why do these State of the Union things look to have to promote and point out the division between both parties?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they think it bodes well with the American public. They actually think, well, if I'm sitting down, I'm fighting for America. No, you're not. You look ridiculous. You
Yeah.
look like a child. You look like a 5-year-old, and
Yeah.
somebody told you, "Hey, have a temper tantrum right now on the American stage." Like
Yeah.
you're not adults.
And it
Stop.
promotes people are seeing this on there
Mhm.
and thinking, oh, it's okay to do. You know, they always
Mhm.
say lead by example, right? Well,
Mhm.
look, we've got a constitution. They gave an oath to uphold and defend it. And if that means putting America first, all of them should have no problem standing up for that.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
Absolutely.
The thing is that I believe there is some historical context to that. I got to check the math on it, but I believe it goes
Mhm.
back to the days of FDR, where they actually
Yes.
incorporated that as a tradition in the House. Well, during the State of the Union, that the opposing party will be seated, during the chants and the raise of the high points that's being made by the president. Although I get it, that's theatrics, that's the theatrical side of it all, but it does send a message to everyday people that's watching that, saying,
Mhm.
okay, it's okay for me to be against whatever that's good that
Yeah.
is being said. And that's what's being festered here, when they're doing that. It's like, how can you stay seated when you're talking about DJ Daniel, who was the cancer survivor, boy,
Yes.
last State of the Union. That pissed me off. I'm like, wow, y'all are that just ignorant that you're gonna stay seated when the
Mhm.
entire building was applauding this kid that survived
Right.
cancer. It's like,
Exactly.
you could have set aside the theatrics for 5 seconds and said,
Mhm.
you know what, wow,
Yeah.
that's great. But
How
no,
about
they don't do that.
how about a representative carrying a sign that said black people aren't apes?
Well, let me.
That was Mr. Green, though. He does this
Yeah,
every year. Expect it for 2 more years because this is who this man is. He is an
Division.
agitator.
He's a
well, you know what,
division.
guys? Mr. Green, who represents, he's down there in Texas, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
What
He's in
this
Texas.
is the thing to the American people and patriots across this country. We have to look at these political leaders on the Democratic side who are doing this foolish stuff, thinking that we're so dumb that we're going to fall for it. But we have to really look at these people who represent American citizens in these different states, and the state is gone to hell. Their districts lack economics. I mean, they're running crime riddled, the whole 9 yards. And so Al Green, not the singer, not Hot Grits Green, Al Green is an idiot.
With the
Al
cane.
Caveman.
The guy with the cane. And so he never comes and talk about, none of these politicians, especially the black ones, they never talk about how they're going to work with the Republicans to uplift and rebuild the black community.
Nope. No
They're not
legislation.
saying
Nothing. They got
They
nothing.
don't have no legislation, like you say, Doc. All they're doing is playing this identity politics. They want black people to hate the Republican Party. They want black people to hate Trump. And at the same time, they're not doing nothing for the black community. And so when I saw Al Green get kicked out, I was glad he was kicked out because it was idiotic, the sign that he had. Now, let's talk about that right quick. See, this is how asinine that the Democrats are, and they don't do their research. When they talked about Obama with Big Mike as monkeys on this video, they're not telling you that video was out over 2 years ago.
Right.
And so when you take a look at it, and now they're telling Trump, well, even though we was out there a long time ago, you still a racist. And so they're trying to activate the emotions of the black community. and to be able to get mad and say, well, no, we're not monkeys. Well, guess what? We allowed Obama and them to make a monkey out of us as well as an ass. So they did nothing. Obama did nothing for the black community. Big Mike ain't never did nothing for the black community, but deceived them like it was a woman, but when it's a man. So their record with the black community shouldn't mean anything. And black people need to wake up. We need to quit getting emotional when something like this happens, because that's all the Democrats have left. They have to know that we got to get our emotional support pits back. See, black people are start waking up. We ain't jumping to the aid of everybody that they want us to. And so now that our eyes are open to the real enemy, and the real enemy is the Democratic Party and the Democratic leadership, who continues to make an ass out of us and themselves as well. I'm going to play Al Green, you guys. Not the singer.
Not the singer, y'all.
I'm going to play Al Green. And y'all tell me what y'all
mess. Just a mess.
For being kicked out 2 years in a row from the Soviet Union. I have the consequences were of no consequence to me. You have to take a stand. The consequences of no consequence, in the sense that I would allow the consequences to prevent me from doing what I believe is a righteous thing to do. Dr. King did not allow the consequences to prevent him from going to Birmingham, and he went to jail. Rosa Parks did not allow the consequences to prevent her from taking a seat on the bus. That's where we are now. We are back to a point where people have to take a stand. I'm just a person who has done it. There are many others, I believe, who would.
For what? What are you taking a stand for? He doesn't make sense. He doesn't make sense. What are you taking a stand for? You are holding us. We're aware that black people aren't apes. We're well aware of that, sir. And we are well aware, historically, it was used in propaganda to make people look bad. But you look horrible. You look ridiculous. You have no legislation. I don't even know how you stay in office. First of all, in Texas, Randy, you need to handle this.
I've been trying.
You take care of
it. But to your point, Dr. Shack, I would respectfully disagree with you, Doctor. Black people have been playing apes for decades. Planet of the Apes, Holly Berry.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
We allegedly, according to science back in the day, before it was corrected, that black people evolved from apes. So I don't know. Theory of evolution. Maybe there's some.
No. Stop that. Okay, look. He has nothing but a sign. He's got nothing but a sign. He's not being helpful. And it's really destroying the black community, because here's the deal. At the end of the day, we are not economically empowered because we are really not putting forth business plans to lower the regulations of the black community so black businesses could start, so you can build that generational wealth.
Randy is picking up like crazy. I want to get what Randy is saying. Randy, can you hear us? You might need to come back in so that we can hear what you're saying. We want to hear your
I know.
Steve?
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Al Green?
Well, like Doc said, he's always creating a disturbance. He's trying to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to stir up something against Trump. He's just an instigator about stuff. He has no professionalism. As far as I'm concerned, I'd like to see, in my opinion, I'd like to get all the bank accounts of all these politicians, because as Doc said, what's he doing in there? Why is he even in office? He does nothing. So it's got to be, the elections are fixed. He's got some pretty easy constituents to sway to vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
Or he has nobody running against him, because I think a 12-year-old could probably beat him in a primary.
And a lot of them, to your point, Steve, they run unopposed. Like David Scott here in Georgia, he's run unopposed for at least the 6 years that I've been voting.
Really?
Yeah, I think there was somebody who tried to run against him in one election. So that would have been in 24. And that person, unfortunately they lost. But in the 6 years that I've, seen him on the ballot, I was just like, nobody's running against this person. Like nobody. Like, okay.
I can't see how people can't see failure and want to fix it. It's just like
right,
when
absolutely.
Trump was in office, things were getting better. And the next thing you know, he gets voted out. Wait a minute here. This makes no sense on how things are going better. And people want to get rid of that?
Because it's a blue no matter who thing. That is how these people vote. They do not care. They don't. And see, they've made the presidency so much of an ideological thing. They've really made him an idol as opposed to really looking at what happens with the country with our vote. It's like, oh my gosh, if I give my vote to him, he hates me. I hate him. It's like, no, he's not the only person doing this. He's not the only human involved. We have a whole Congress, y'all, House and the Senate. They actually make the laws, not the president.
Randy, let's hear what your comment, man, because you start breaking up. I want to hear what you said.
Oh no, I was just saying, we apparently evolved from apes. Back when,
that's what they say.
Yeah, old science, the theory of evolution, we evolved from apes. You had plenty of the apes, was depicted by black people, especially Halle Berry in the movie version versus the TV series. So Al Green is just a resident clown for the Congress there. And unfortunately for him, he's been cut out of his district, so he won't be back in Congress if all things go well. So there's that.
Well, you know what, guys, I'm gonna throw a clip in here where President Trump was talking about how the Democrats really are. Check this out.
When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
He needs to be thrown out.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure.
Yeah, they're trying to drown out Mr. Green.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
It's just
Okay,
an
guys, your thoughts on
embarrassment.
that?
Just he's an embarrassment. Green is an embarrassment, and they had to do the chant of USA a couple of times to kind of drown out the nonsense that was going on with the Democrats last night.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to throw another clip on there, guys. I want your thoughts on this because after the speech last night, there was some rebuttal by the Democrats. Now check this out.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
You did that.
Sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
I mean, they sit there with this vitriol, and I'm like, man, you should be removed from the country. See, there you go. We're gonna drive you out.
This what you
Omar.
were looking at is the Democrat.
All right, guys, your thoughts on that?
Every
She's a
time I
Lydia
see-
Omar has lost her mind completely. You would
Yeah,
think
every
that
time I
she would
see-
keep her mouth shut because she's about to go to prison. They done stole more. The Somalis came to Minnesota and set up shop to the American people and patriots across this country. They have stole more than $19 billion.
That's what we know.
You're sitting up in a speech talking crap, knowing that you orchestrated it all. Your thoughts on that, Randy?
I'm surprised. I'm really baffled as to why she's not in jail right now. But every time I see Rashida Tlaib, y'all remember Gremlins 2? The
Mhm.
female gremlin?
Oh, the glasses
the big red lipstick.
and the glasses. Yeah.
Every time I see her, I just get that flash of her. I'm just like, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not trying to talk about women like that, but I am. But them two are like just are resident terrorists in Congress. They quite
Yes.
literally are. And and I'm just really baffled as to why they still have their seats, why they have not been removed from Congress, impeached, whatever, however the process will be for them, and taken out and saying, hey, have a nice life in Club Fed somewhere. It's just really baffling. And it goes to show that the internal corruption, the internal cronyism that's going on there, that they allow these two to still walk free, and for Minnesota and Michigan to keep reelecting these goofballs.
It's that part.
It
Mhm.
speaks to their character as people up there, because it's like, what in the hell is going on? Y'all can't find no one else. You're better off. You better self-serve. You better self-serve getting a high school kid and elected them to Congress. It's just madness.
Mr. Mankey?
Well, it all goes back, reminds me of after the Constitutional Convention, Ben Franklin was asked what he got us, and he said, a republic if you can keep it.
Yes.
Mhm.
And many of the forefounders or founding fathers, many of them agreed that, they weren't against immigration, but they wanted people to come here that was going to be assimilating and standing up for this country. And you've seen Omar and her associate there. It kind of tells you why, because our founders talked about our Constitution as being for a moral and religious people. So you don't have to be religious, but you got to have morals, and you got to be able to follow something together. And the only way you're going to keep a republic together is with those morals.
Yeah.
And when you've got foreign people coming in here that quite frankly want to just destroy what this country is about, you see that. You've seen it with Omar and them. And it just reminds me so much that, the history that we should be being taught in schools and stuff, how important it is, because we can't stand, what was it, Abe Lincoln that said, no house divided can stand. It's a perfect example of it. Democrats stand for division, destruction, ownership, and we've got to learn our history better. That's
why they took civics out of the schools.
Well,
They didn't
exactly.
take civics out of the schools so they could have these wonderful educated people. They did it so they could indoctrinate people. And that's what we have.
Yes. I'm going to play a little bit more of this clip, guys, and we're going to talk about it. Then we're going to get out of here. Check this out.
Insider Trading Act without delay.
That's what I'm talking about. Look, Blumenthal. Look, you, Mr. $30 million trade.
There goes my money.
Yep. He didn't do a $30 million trade, but it was close to it. He did some trades and he made some millions of dollars.
I'm very impressed. Thank you.
That's why I want to see their bank accounts.
But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information.
Facts.
And in
These are all
actuality,
facts.
the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
And I love it.
Yes.
Get all the fraud.
Look at her face.
Get all the fraud. Get all of it. Because it's everywhere. In entitlement programs and the NGOs. Get them.
Yep.
Get them. I like it.
He'll get it done.
Yes, he will.
And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly.
That's
the kind of
crazy,
money
but he's
we
not
can
wrong.
balance our budget.
That's
The
crazy, but
Somali
he's not wrong.
pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm.
Stop shaking
not
your
the
head no, ma'am.
exception.
Yes, your state.
Importing
Yes,
these
you. It's
cultures
already been
through
found. Like, why are you
unrestricted
sitting there in
immigration
denial?
and open borders.
She's
Are you
going,
kidding me
I'm
right now?
gone.
Right here to the USA.
Where
Look
is
She's
at
she?
being
living in the
consoled.
land
Look
of
at her being
denial.
consoled.
Pay the price of
They're
higher
there.
medical bills,
You're
home
gonna be
insurance
okay.
rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care
In
of this
prison.
problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We
Hey,
are not
Gremlin.
playing games.
It's
She
a whole
does look
problem.
like that.
But
All right,
see,
guys.
you see the epithets that she's wearing. She's wearing a pin that says F ICE. Look, ma'am,
Yes.
Congress put ICE in place. Rewrite the legislation. But see, you're not going to do that because you need something to complain about. And you're not going to talk about Obama, the deporter in chief. Yes, the person you worship that deported more people than Donald Trump has deported till now. But see, you know what? He's got Tom Homan, who didn't only serve under Obama, he served under Biden, and he served under Trump, he served under the Reagan administration. I need you to stop. I just need you to stop.
Randy, your thoughts?
Yeah, to that point, these Democrats, they won't write legislation opposing the things that they are crying about. You know why? Because that will put them out of a job.
Yep.
And we already know how most NGOs, they exist, nonprofits, they exist to milk the system, just like members of Congress or any politician for that matter. If you present them a problem and they actually fix it, it's like, oh shit, I got nothing else to do now. I'm out of a job. I worked to put myself out of a job. If I see a problem, I go in and fix it because that's what I was hired or elected to do. I want to work myself out of a job. Matter of fact, I want to get to the point where there is no problems at all, and I can actually go chill and be cool. But no, you got people that actually, if you tell a member of Congress right now, hey, we're going to put a freeze on your salaries until you pass legislation that will actually help the American people. They would be like,
scrambling. They'd be scrambling. They'd be crying and crashing out because they wouldn't know what to do, first of all.
Yeah. But that's our job as the American people. That we can actually implement, we can actually incorporate that. We can say you will no longer get paid. We're going to withhold our pay, our taxes, and prevent you from getting paid until you do your job.
And you cannot take any donations or special interest. Nobody can fund you. No one. Exactly. We're not funding you, and nobody else is funding you. Figure it out and fix it.
Mr. Binky?
Here's like what Randy was saying is these politicians don't want to fix them, but they want to create stuff to create problems.
Yep.
And all this fraud, this is a perfect example of why our Constitution, if it was followed the way it's supposed to be, and the government used the powers that were granted to them, we wouldn't have to worry about all these billions and hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud, because government is not supposed to be doing 75% of what they're doing. And what these programs do is create the ability to commit fraud. And Ilhan is a prime example of a program, government funded, that they created. They learned how to abuse it, and they're all profiting from it. So as Doc Nichols said, let's get rid of this stuff. We make government do what they are supposed to do according to the Constitution. And it's not a hard thing. War, peace, treaties, and then you read Article 1, Section 8. Simple, and stick to it. And as Trump said, we'll have this debt cleaned up overnight.
Well, you know what, guys? Most of the debt that this country has incurred is from illegal fraud. That's where most of the debt has come from. And I applaud President Trump for standing in the gap, saying, you know what, we're gonna find out where the money at. And you're gonna have to. JD is gonna be like a hound dog looking for a bone, because they've already got all the information from them. They already know who the players are. They're trying to substantiate the fact, how do we get the American people's money back that Omar stole? And no telling, Galvin Newsom done stole, J.B. Pritzker, Brandon Johnson done stole. All of them should be in prison. They should be in prison. They've broken federal laws. And President Trump, Pam Bundy, you guys need to move on these people. Just like you moving on Epstein, you need to move on these politicians who are stealing the American people dollars, who want to castrate our kids and indoctrinate them to have to accept the type of lifestyle that's against God. This whole thing is crazy as hell, and our country is moving backwards. It was moving backwards till President Trump got in and started taking us to this whole new plateau of respectability, economic soundness, education-wise for our children. This president is probably the first president that is really implementing what he said that he is going to do, and that's why the Democrats are having such a problem. One question, guys, and I want you guys to answer it. They brought in the hockey team. They brought in other Americans who had done great things for this country, like the guy that got injured during the Venezuela. I mean, all of these people that he saluted last night are Americans who have done great things to try to make this country better. And for the Democrats to just sit there and not applaud anything that these people had done. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Binky? We're going to get out of here. Give me your thoughts on that.
Shows who they are. It shows who they are. They're divisionists. They hate this country, and they're promoting. I have no use for a Democrat. I think that the Democratic Party should be abolished.
Randy?
I echo those sentiments. It's a sad state of affairs that we're in, in the political spectrum of things. So the fact that they show who they are, and it's always said in the Bible, know them by their fruits. And if people are still clinging to that and they still support that, then it speaks to your character as an individual, and it speaks to who you are. So, you're guilty by association. Birds of a feather flock together.
Doc, your thoughts on that in your last words?
I'm in agreement with Mr. Binky. They need to be abolished as a party, only because not only did they lie to the American public, they lied to the American public with impunity and continued with the fraudulent activity till this date. And they are still supporting it. So, it's unfortunate that the Democratic Party has pushed it this far, and they really think that they are solid and solidified as a party. But see, they don't talk about the walkaways from the party. They don't talk about the lack of funding that they do have in the party, because they are not funded the way they are. They were outside with their counter protests. They were not in a tent. They were outside in 30-degree weather having a counter protest, in the Lincoln Memorial area, while everybody else was warm inside. I was like, wow, y'all couldn't even get a hallway for your little situation. Okay. And it sounded like all of 30, 40, 50 people were there. It wasn't as big as they made it out to be because they never showed the crowd. They only showed the stage. So that lets you know what's happening with it. It's a lot of faux outrage. And it's really sad.
Before we get off of here, Dave, I just want to say something. Black History.
That's the last word. Go ahead. And if you guys, I do have a clip showing the event that they did last night that nobody showed up to, and they were just out in the cold weather. Let me see if I can play that right
They even had a fake protester come saying that was a MAGA person. I was like, I've not seen a lot of MAGA people that look like that. So I don't think that was a real MAGA person. I think it was staged because it was very gentle. You know, the way he came up on stage and the way he was removed. And they do a lot of that stuff. They'll stage stuff. Very interesting.
Well, you know what, guys? We're gonna save that one for the next run. Your last words, Randy. We're gonna get out of here. I know, Doc, you got to get out of here on the time frame, but I appreciate you guys coming on the show to discuss the State of the Union speech. Randy, your last words. We got to go.
Hey, I appreciate you all. Great discussion today, and you can always follow me on social media at rperm, and check out my website at rperm.com.
Mr. Binky, your last words.
Well, Black History Month's coming to an end, so I want people to go into history here. Look up Crispus Attucks, Peter Salem, James Armistead, George Middleton, Ned Hector, Phyllis Wheatley. I want you to take these names and do a search on them. They were revolutionary heroes. The Revolutionary War wasn't about a white man. It was about white and black, and they went for freedom. And Black History Month is a celebration, in my view, once you learn the truth about the Revolutionary War, the Bucks of America. You know, it wasn't a white man deal. It was a white and black man deal. And it was all about freedom. And that's what Black History Month should be about. I didn't get to talk a whole lot about it because too much other stuff's going on. But please look those names up and see how important to the freedoms and the Revolutionary War the black community played.
Doc, your last words, and we're out of here.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for joining us and just talking about everything that needs to be talked about. And remember, we are here at the USA Redemption Party. We're looking for people to be servants of the people, not politicians. So definitely check us out at usaredemptionparty.com.
I want to thank you guys for coming on the show, and we're going to keep it going. We're going to continue to bring the great news and the truth to the American people. So, guys, we'll be looking at maybe Friday. Y'all got some time. We're going to do it again, and we'll pick up what we left off. Blessings, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Bye.
To the American people and patriots across this country, these are my last words. Listen. What we saw last night was the hatred for this country by the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party does not have any interest to the American people. They have sold them souls to Satan. This is more about a spiritual war, but what we saw last night should be the end of the Democratic Party. They have not put forth any legislation. They have not done anything correct. Their whole mission is to try to get the American people upset because Donald Trump is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He's changed the economy. He made marriage between a man and a woman. He made sure that our schools, that our children will be able to learn something besides being indoctrinated to switch over from a sex that God gave them. It's time for the American people and patriots across this country to stand up against the Democratic Party. There should be no American who watched the State of the Union speech last night, the disrespect, the stupidity that the Democratic leadership showed last night. They showed that they hate this country and that they should not be in office. And so that what President Trump is doing is exactly what this country needs. We need economics. We need clarity. on marriage between a man and a woman. We need all the things that the president is doing, because guess what? That's what we asked him to do, to make this country great again. God bless you. We'll see you guys tomorrow.